3, 2, 1.
Alright, everyone. I will be your host for the wee hours of the night. My name is BunniestBunReenah, but we have something much more important to focus on. We have miinfin with Astalon Tears of the Earth. Take it away.
Hey everybody, my name is miinfin. I will be running Astalon Tears of the Earth, new game 80%. I've been running this game since probably about 5 or 6 months ago. This is probably my favorite category. With me today to do the majority of the commentary, because I cannot commentate my own runs and do it at the same time, is Colt. Colt, go ahead and introduce yourself, please.
Yep, like I said, my name is Coltaho. I've been running this game for the whole year that it's been out. This is actually the anniversary of it being released. So we're going to see some rather new finds during this run. It should be fun.
Yeah, so Colt did the majority of the explanation, so we'll do the countdown. Time will start once we start moving. So there will be about a slight delay and stuff, and then we'll time it in. So I'm going to start at the New Game Plus, and so the game just loads everything all at once, and we should be going here in 3, 2, 1. Go ahead and start the timer. It'll probably load in soon.
There we go. So like you was saying, the game takes a little while to load, but then there's no more load screens. I guess we can go over the categories. So this is New Game Plus, which, like most games, you get to start over with pretty much everything that you've earned, everything that you've gained, all your levels, your experience, all of that, except for you typically key items that allow you to progress easier, like things like double jump or wall kicks. And so we're starting brand new off of that with a fully maxed out, leveled up character with all of our abilities, but we do have to collect certain items to continue to progress through the game. What the devs did that was really cool and unique to this particular New Game Plus is they also reorganized and changed up all the rooms, the map, the layout, so the entire progress throughout the game is different than your first playthrough. The game in general, it's your typical, very simple, retro-style, Metroidvania type game. You can see there we just collected a white key. White keys are used for some pretty important doors. There's also blue keys for blue doors, which are typically side areas, but we will need a few of those going around. And then the red keys, we're not going to really use those during this run, but those are for like super secret kind of boss door things throughout the game that are scattered.
So on all bosses categories, you kind of use those red keys, and I would love to try to be able to get all bosses in a run somewhere for this one. It's fun.
So everything we're doing now, it's kind of just a bit slow. We don't have any fun movement abilities right now. We're just walking around with our favorite character, Blue, and we're gathering a few keys we need to make our way up this huge tower. I don't know if we'll really have time to look at the whole map for you later, but there's quite a few runs.
So getting that first try was nice.
Yeah, so that's an example, and we actually did earlier, is there's a glitch with the animation, with the swing timers, where we can get up slightly higher than we're meant to with this character if we start swinging it and then jump immediately and interrupt the animation. So we did it at the very start to skip a tutorial area to get to the ladder, and then we just did it there to skip probably close to 10 seconds of going back and forth to get up to that key. Here's our first example of a little mini boss. You can hear the music's changed, it gets all hype. We're just going to ignore him.
Yeah, I've actually started doing that recently. It's a little faster, but it takes some damage. That's the only thing that sucks.
Speaking of damage, our health right now is blue. It's because we started this file with a special power-up that gave us, I think it's 20% or 30% extra health.
Something like that. I can't remember the
on
exact
top of
number.
our max life. So it's like an extra buffer. and we won't be able to heal past that, obviously. And we're gonna try to make the most out of our life that we have, because it is a precious commodity. There are ways to heal later through lanterns, very Shovel Knight style, and then occasionally, very occasionally, get a random health drop from enemies.
I have also taken a lot more damage right now during this run than I would care to normally take.
And that's typically how Marathon goes. You
Of course.
you always start out a little on edge and play very badly, you know?
But it's all for the memes. Ow. My cycle was way off the power. Because normally I can make it to that blue barrier without having to worry about taking any damage.
So as you might have noticed, everything here is on a cycle in the room once you enter it. So if we ever had to reset a cycle, we'd have to exit and then re-enter, that kind of thing.
Almost to first boss.
So the very astute might have noticed that there's more characters on the title screen, and then when we spawned in, they were talking during the cutscene that we skipped and all that nonsense. Here's the rest of the party. They're all just chilling there, and how this game works is you can actually switch to all the characters that you have unlocked. There's a few bonus ones that aren't necessarily a part of the main story, and you have to do it at a campfire. But for this boss, we want to have Mr. Blue with our sword, and you'll see why if we get a quick kill.
Because I think without any items, he's got the fastest attack speed in the game, doesn't he?
Yeah, he has a very fast attack.
Of course he is.
So we're looking for good RNG. He's going to come up 2 different times. It's totally random where he comes up. We want him right there, and that was a really good kill. So if he wasn't killed before he went back down there, then he'd have a big time waster mid-phase before he came back up again.
Yeah, the mid-phase cycle thing is somewhere around 20 to 30 seconds. It's definitely a run killer. At least it's real early to restart.
So all these little orbs you see flying at our face, those are basically experience points. They're also a resource we can spend with a certain ability, which you'll see here shortly. Because this is New Game Plus, we already have near infinite. We don't have to worry about those. We don't need to spend any for anything. So. And there's an example of using the candle to get some more life back. So here's our first switch to Red. She has a really cool ability where she can wall kick.
And Pogo
like so.
QQ.
And then the ability I was talking about, it actually spends that resource, and it does a screen-wide beam that just destroys everything. It also activates these special orbs that allow us to open doors or change the status of anything in the room, basically. So we have this all routed out for obviously the fastest as we can complete this. This is pretty much where we deviate from what was quote intended route, where we came up with our own way to get through here really quickly. Using one of those blue keys. Yep. So this is like a back passageway that's not really meant to be found too early in the game. Usually you find it pretty late, but obviously we know it's here. So we're coming over here. We're going to grab a special item that's going to allow us to use teleporters.
Toy charm! But that ugly mug is going to look a little different here in just a second.
Here's our fancy teleporter. These are set up in pairs throughout the entire map. So this teleporter always goes to this other teleporter. And we're going to use that to get to where we want to go a lot quicker than if we went the normal way. We're taking advantage there of the ray to activate that door from where we normally wouldn't be. Casually, you'd have to fight a boss first to go back up that and activate it. So now we have to switch back to blue. One of his things that he can do, he can break the blue strands of whatever tentacle looking things with his sword here on the right side of the screen. He's the only one that can break through that, so we have to use him for that, and that's why we go back to the campfire to grab him. Here we have two other mini bosses. They're just kind of floating around. Can't really do much but wait for them. And then once they're dead, ooh, nice. That was an animation skip there. It's somewhat inconsistent, but if you can kill one of the small guys at the same time the big guy dies, it just cancels it, which is awesome.
I might
This little
randomly start
gauntlet
running
is-
the music too.
Oh yeah, the music everywhere is great. There is probably the most favorite music in the game is actually somewhere we're not going to see today, but definitely check it out if this game looks interesting. Give it a play, listen to everything. So here's our next major key item that we're going to grab. These are the Griffin Claws, and this is what Red is going to use to get infinite wall jumps. Because by default she can only bounce off the wall once, and this will let her do it however much she wants.
Ow, I didn't want the player. Oh.
So spikes do % damage, and we're trying to take the hit from the skeleton dude that only does 2 damage for us. The fireball, as you saw, did 5, so the less damage we can take, the better. Nice dodge.
Doing another lantern here in a second because I should be a little bit higher on health right now.
So now we're making our
Oh,
way
I
back.
almost got the quick fall all the way through.
We're gonna hit this candle like he was saying to get some more health before we go across, because with his attack speed it's the fastest way to break the candle. We're gonna go back to red, and we're gonna use those Griffin Claws the rest of the game with red. That paired with her ray ability that can just clear the whole screen and activate things, it's too stupidly powerful for New Game Plus.
Yep.
There is an item that you would get in any % or in a normal playthrough that allows you to switch your characters no matter where you're at with just a button press, and we do not actually route that into this because it takes longer to go find that than it does just to get her Griffin Claws and let her do the rest of the game.
Yeah, and there's something we're going to see up on this boss coming up. She has an ability that you buy that if she hits with her regular arrows, provided she doesn't miss, it multiplies her damage up to a maximum of 1.5%. And we take advantage of this on a couple bosses. Also, you'll see us activate this elevator. We don't use it, so we need to not die.
Yeah, so the elevator is in a way to get back to where you are if you died. We don't get the key item that's required to even use elevators. So if we die New Game Plus, the run is over. There's no way around it. Because you would have to manually just walk through every single room all the way back up to the top. So you see there, he did the 5 hits to get the 1.5 multiplier, which is 50%, and we're going to continue to ray into the phase. This is a 2-part fight. The lower we get to phase 1, the easier the phase 2, faster it goes. So that was decent. And then we're just going to get this guy as much as we can with our ray. Sometimes it multi-hits, sometimes it doesn't. If it doesn't multi-hit, it's a lot less damage, obviously. And there's the multis right there.
And I should have died there. Oh well.
There you go. There's the second major boss in the game.
Yep.
Normally in any percent, you're here with not a lot of life. We're using a wholly different character, and it's probably one of the harder first challenges you have to figure out as you're beginning to run the game, because it is so hard or easy to die against him.
Yeah, oddly enough, I have run almost every other side category other than regular any percent game. For some odd reason, I won't do it. And I think it's Valentis. It's his fault.
Yeah, it's definitely kind of sucks to get there and have to reset.
Alright, now this particular route.
So this is actually where miinfin found a better route than I did. I read it out the New Game Plus first, and we were running that for a while. And, I mean, what were you even doing? Were you just, like, looking around, or...?
Yeah, I was routing something for all bosses, for looking for certain items. Because I think what it was, I was trying to find my way to the boots, and I came across this, and I was like, wait a second, where does this go? And I was like, oh, I think this is faster.
Yeah, so that little, the side patches there, this is where the route reconverges, and we just cut off, what, 2.5 minutes or so of going around other ways. There was just way slower. These are ghost-type enemies. We cannot attack them without a special item, which we're definitely not going to go grab. But funny enough, we do grab it in any percent.
If you allow me to cut in here for a second, right now it doesn't look like we have any donations. Indiethon is raising money to benefit Puppies Behind Bars. Puppies Behind Bars trains incarcerated individuals to raise service dogs for wounded war veterans and first responders, as well as explosive detection canines for law enforcement. Puppies enter prison at the age of 8 weeks with their incarcerated puppy raises for approximately 24 months. As the puppies mature into well-loved, well-behaved dogs, their raisers learn what it means to contribute to society rather than take from it. Check out the website at puppiesbehindbars.com to learn more about their wonderful programs. And if you would like to donate to go help support Puppies Behind Bars, we do currently have a donation bid war coming up for Game Dev Story. We have a few of them, so if you'd like to contribute to any of those, feel free.
Awesome.
Also, that attack was God RNG.
That was the second time you would normally fight the Black Knight. He's a recurring nemesis throughout the game until the very end. And as you saw, he's pretty easy to dispatch with the Ray of Light. There's certain attacks where he just sits there and you kill him. That also brings us to one of the hardest parts of the game. This entire area is straight up the most unforgiving, harshest, longest places of the entire game to get through. So normally in the 80%, you would, if you did happen to die, like I said, you use the elevator, you get back up, and then there's shortcuts we open by stepping on switches. But since we're New Game Plus, we don't even have the item for the elevator. We're not going to worry about that because shortcuts won't help us. The other buttons, any button that you see and press, we have to do that to even move forward.
Now this mini-boss music we have to fight, because we need them to die to open the door. This is the climb I hate the most, because somehow getting through there without getting hit by a fireball just seems to be unavoidable.
Once again, all these spikes that you see, they are percent damage, and they chunk away your health really quickly if you're not careful.
And I'm going to very purposely get hit by this guy. Because I'd rather take 5 than 14.
And you see, we are passing some of these candles. It takes quite some time to break these candles with multiple hits with red because of our slow attack speed. So if we can help it, we try not to grab those until we're really low in danger. Pretty much all the enemies you see up here, if you touch them in the body, they hurt a lot. Their attacks usually do a little less, but they still hurt a lot up here. And then the ball and chain there only does 2, which is very forgiving. But compared to everything else, if he was to touch the big thing jumping up and down, I think that's like 12 gargoyles
yeah,
finish.
Like that.
So yeah, we try to not to get any damage taken here unless it's purposeful to make things go faster, and it's only 2 damage, hopefully.
Whee! Just barely run out of that, Jesus.
So what we're doing here, the game wants you to go left and right, activate switches on each side. Because we have this ray that goes across the screen, we can activate both switches once we get to one side. And then we don't have to do the whole other side.
Oh, good. Okay, I didn't think I was going to make that jump at all.
So those switches activate these blocks so we can get up to this ladder and continue on. This is another even more dangerous part of the game. Those Lich Revenants, they can spawn pretty much anywhere on the screen. There was a patch to make them a little better, where they're not supposed to spawn on you, but it only chooses that... I mean, they spawn right after they choose that. So if you're moving, they could have chose where you weren't, and you're going to jump right into them anyway without any warning. So they're still really, really hard. Usually when you come on a screen, you want to wait for a brief second just to make sure they're not going to be spawning in front of you, because they will hurt you a lot.
I broke that on purpose, just to give myself a little bit of extra health. Oh, really? I timed that. I jumped through the blocks.
So everything you've seen since we fought that the Black Knight earlier, this is all in one go, even in any percent. There is no save here, other than the small shortcuts that you can get until you find the next elevator, which is pretty high up here.
Let's do this the slow way, because apparently I'm not clipping the side right.
Here, these urns, they make all the enemies on the screen invulnerable until you kill the urn first. So you have to go down here, kill that, then you have to kill the other 2 enemies on the screen to open the door. These bubbles kind of let you swim in the air. This is the first time we see them here in the run. Surprised you didn't want to just get all that health there, but...
I should have, jeez.
Well, there's an example of extreme body damage, 25. So we're dipping in here for a little health.
Especially considering I need to take this fireball.
Alright, we are getting towards the... I wouldn't say quite the end of the game, but we're getting up there. We're getting kind of close. This section isn't as hard as it looks. Like, yeah, we're in the dark and whatnot, but it's pretty easy. There's nothing too terribly crazy. Except the very first, as you enter, you saw that we stood in a very specific spot and got stabbed for 2 damage. If those body you, once again, it's like 10, 12 damage. It's way more damage. So we try not to get bodied.
Now, I did that little snipe on purpose because Now these guys only take 1 beam to kill instead of 2. So that's where the damage multiplier can come in handy quite a bit. And button. Alright, get this key. Not taking chances right there with those guys.
So this is another mini boss. Has a ton of health, not very hard, but he does have what 2 attacks really. So as you saw, we just stood there and dodged one, and if he did the other one, we would eventually have to like walk slightly to dodge it.
Yeah, I got lucky with that. Lately, I've been getting the beam attack, and I almost landed on his head. Ugh. That Revenant, however, is being a jerk.
It is kind of handy. Once they do the initial spawn, they will do that little beeping and tell you, hey, I'm going here. They do have a hitbox the whole time they're traveling there, so you gotta be careful.
Alright.
So here's our, coming up is our pretty much our final chance to get some more life. We're gonna switch to Algus. He's the primary character, and he's used pretty much throughout the entire 90% run whenever we can, because he is quite the boss killer. For this specific boss, we want a really fast attack speed and range, and it helps us get through it much quicker than the ray of light does. So, and because the fireplace is right there to switch characters, there's no reason not to. And then we'll switch back later. So each of these, it's 10 hits for each part of the body, and then the next phase starts. Or is it 20 hits? It's a few.
I think it's 20. Either way, I stood in the perfect spot both times. Holy crap.
And this is an example of, this is pretty much how the fight goes in 80%. Not quite as fast, but Algus is really good. And that's the 3rd major boss of the game. And now all we have left is our final match with the Black Knight, and then the ultimate boss that you'll see coming up.
Which in any percent is quite a bit more scary. In New Game Plus, as long as you can take like 20-something health, 20-something damage, you're fine.
Yeah, the trick is not to waste your life on Black Knight.
Yeah. Now we have one more lantern that will be coming up here. Since I'm at the health I'm not going to take it. I'm just going to go switch back to Cooley, which is red, and proceed on to the final boss.
They have a very Castlevania feel up here with the music and the artwork. So this is the very top of the castle. And this elevator only activates if you kill all the 3 major bosses I just talked about. You can see their colors lighting up there. And then you can ascend to the final boss fight.
Epic boss music.
So here we build our multiplier, and then just start using Ray of Light. He's not a very smart boss. If you stay a little bit away from him when he's walking, he won't even turn around. He'll hit a wall, turn back, and just keep walking. So, there you go.
Yeah, I could have had that done sooner, but I missed an input. I didn't jump on the wall. Alright.
So this boss has 3 phases. You'll have 3 health bars. When the third one depletes all the way, that's time. We do time this by game time. We work with the devs to make sure it's as accurate as possible with discounting the loads and then being even across all the platforms. So, but RTA-wise, it's going to be the same where it ends as soon as it's dead.
And this also is looking like it's going to be ending a little bit faster, so we might have time to explore what the field map looks like, at least the size of it.
So here, this is multi-hitting all of those routes to begin the actual first phase. And you have to hit the jewel to do any damage. First phase, I didn't get an attack off, nice and easy. Any percent, it takes a lot longer and it's a lot harder. Okay, phase 2 is done, and time will be when this bar is depleted.
And 3, 2, 1, and time. You know what really gets me about keep bonking about to get to the dark rooms? Because that was almost 30 seconds ahead.
Wow, yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah, the current world record is definitely not optimized after you found the new route, so...
Oh yeah, no. But yeah, so, let's see. I think I put the estimate in about 30. Actually, you know what? Since I know we're probably running a little bit behind, I won't do anything extra. We did finish early, but this way we can use some of that extra time to get try to get back on track. But if you guys like the game, check it out on Steam. It's $20. It's well worth it. Give them some love on their birthday because they made a great game and they've done stuff to go through and help the speedrunning community out and stuff to make things work and fix anything that might have been a little janky and stuff like that. But there's lots of stuff there. I still run this. It's my second favorite game right behind The Messenger. So, but yeah. Shout outs to Indiethon for letting us come in and showcase this fantastic indie game. So normally I stream on Twitch, but I'm taking a couple month hiatus except for this marathon because I am moving houses and gotta go through stuff. But yeah, otherwise check me out on Twitter, also same name. Colt, I'm pretty sure you're on Twitter and Twitch for the same name?
Just Twitch, but yeah.
Just Twitch? Okay. Yeah. So if you want to come check us out, see when we're live, and then check this game out. Otherwise, enjoy the rest of the run. We'll turn it back over to Bunny, and we can hit this marathon back on track.
Excellent work. Thank you for coming around and showcasing this wonderful game for everyone. I know it's going immediately on my Steam wishlist. I think I'm not the only one around here. And coming up next, we actually have a run of Evoland 2.